So that is exactly what we are saying here. This is the kingdom of God there in the Garden of Eden. Spirit and truth. The word and presence. And that's exactly what Jesus introduced. Worship in spirit and truth.
Wow.
It's not religion, not anything outside.
Wow.
Truth comes from him. Spirit too. If you could embrace those two, they are the super life. Now, you can get truth from reading and from studying other people what God means, because when you read, other people have dissected the same truth in their word. They have simplified it for you. But it is still the same source. But the Spirit of God is something you have to do intimately yourself. Personal relationship with God. Дайте мне управление. Не надо было уйти, не проверив все. So Genesis 3.
Genesis chapter 3, verses 4 to 5. Then the serpent said to the woman, "You will not surely die, for God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil."
So this is the essence of the fall. You see, everybody, especially Christians, talk about the fall of Adam and Eve. The fall. But they don't seem to get it. They are always talking about fruit. Is it fruit? Is it sex? Is it this? Is it this? Apple or so? But they are losing the top. They are losing the lesson. What is the main thing that happened in the fall?
Destruction. They rejected truth.
Disconnection. They didn't trust God.
They lied.
I'm listening.
They rejected the tree of life.
Of course. The main important thing that happened is that they began to be oriented to live from outside in, which broke their connection with intimacy of God. That intimacy is supposed to be their source. Intimacy with the Spirit. By being distracted from spirit to outside, they broke that relationship. They forsook the truth, the word, and the spirit, and started being oriented by things that happen, things that they see, the empirical evidences, the five senses. That is the greatest problem. And the fact that they ate the fruit is later on. They had seen before they ate. It is after they saw that they took decision. But they were supposed to take decision before, because of what they knew, what they were instructed from before. But now they are now depending on seeing to take decision. But they are supposed to be taking decision from the inward. From the word that was spoken before. From the spirit they were abiding in. But they abandoned that. That caught in relationship with the spirit, with God, is the sin, is the fall we are talking about. The fall is that we stop being led by the principle. That's the thing Jesus was restoring. Go and teach them to obey all I've taught you. Connect them back to instruction, to the spirit life, from inside to believing in. That is the greatest change we could bring to the world. That's why I always write books, as I always listen to my teaching. It's always principles. You are changing people's orientation from, what happened, informing their decisions, to be God's instruction, God's mindset, God's opinion, God's viewpoint. I keep on repeating the same thing. See, you don't get it the first time.
Yeah.
So if you think that you are getting it also just by being here, you need to listen over and over again. I said it yesterday also, but it's not easy to get. It is Small detail. You don't hear religion talk about that. That is what happened. That is the fall. It is the disconnection. So that is why I told you, sin, therefore, is anything that disconnects you from your intimacy, relationship with God. Sin is not what you have done, what you did. That's why I said, but you look at the woman, you didn't sleep now, you didn't do anything. It is the disconnected. It is the disconnection. Whatever disconnects you is a sin. It could be your wife, your husband, your money, your work. It is the relationship. Where is your inspiration coming from? Where is your motivation coming from? Where are you depending in? Their motivation for their decision making was coming from God's instruction, God's spirit. But now they abandoned that and started orienting on the physical things. It started being the motivation of their actions and their reasons for. That is the fall. You became material. You became under the power of material. You became ordinary. You put yourself under the dominion of physical things. Yes. Things that you are supposed to use to serve God. The physical things you are supposed to dominate it. Use it to construct what you had, instruction you got from there, what you saw from there. You use physical things to build those things. But now you are now the one under, you are now waiting for physical things to be informing you. You are now the one following. Instead of you to be the one controlling and dominion. That is what was told you in Genesis chapter 1. You get instruction of what to do from God. You get the leading of what to do from God. And then you use these physical things as the raw materials to do them. That is what life is supposed to be about. That's why you are made in his image to be doing things like his ambassador, representative, and all the things on the earth, your more tools, raw materials, to construct the will of God on the earth as it is done in heaven. To enable you to be able to build the kingdom here as it is in heaven. That's what they were doing all along. That's why they were able to name all the animals. They were able to take care of the garden without destroying anything, without messing up, without, everything was functioning perfect. We don't know, maybe they were there millions of years before Satan came. Everything was running perfect. No tragedy, no destruction. But when they begin to live from things outside in, they were subdued themselves. The things they were supposed to be dominating is now subduing them.